Hi YouTube, this is MastersofYugioh here, and this is the first video that we've posted up for a very long time. We currently kind of got out of the game for the last 3 months or so and just came back in time for Christmas, and so this is the deck that I've been running for the last bit, through some of the summer and this fall. And it almost topped at our regionals, almost made the top 8, but just came short in the final round to qualify. This is my variation on it, and actually to give a shout out to Speedy Steve 2448. You're great at Junk Doppel. I watch videos all the time. It's really helped me get a very strong understanding about what the deck needs to be able to be top tier and such. And just a shout out to him. Other than that, so I'll get right into the deck, and I'll try to give you a more brief explanation this time, and maybe have some time at the end of the video to explain some combos or such. So I'll start with the main deck. So I have 3 Junk Synchron. So I notice that some people, depending on your build, decide to run only 2 Junk Synchron. I preferably do. I really like 3. Having tunings in the deck and making it almost searchable at almost any time is great for the combo with Doppel Warrior and a level 1 tuner. And even if you can't get that exact combo, he's always good. Just bringing out a level 5 like a Tastor or a Junk Warrior, whatever you want, or sometimes even expanding plays or going into different plays with them. You definitely need 3 in this deck, I suggest. 2 Quick Draw. I think 1 is too little and 3 is too much. 2 is very well balanced, and because you can search anytime that you want to with tuning, it becomes very alive. Also, its effect makes it very fast in the deck, giving it its ability to just special summon itself whenever you really want to. Alright, and then 2 Doppel Warrior. Some people really love him and decide to run 3. I prefer 2 because although you constantly special summon from the graveyard, he often isn't sometimes needed, and he's not always. Like, you can do a lot of combos without him, and I don't believe that 3 is really necessary, and I think that does clog the deck. 2 Unknown Synchron. I do have to agree with Speedy Steve on this one. Now that plants are pretty much gone out of out of Junk Doppel, you really need a level 1 tuner that you can special summon easily from your hand, or another level 1 tuner you can have in the graveyard for your combos, or anything like that. I'm a big fan of it. I actually don't often use his actual effect, which allows him to special summon himself from the hand, but I do really like him in other cases anyways. Yeah. 2 Level Leader. Great with Quick Draw. It's a great combo maker. Makes a lot of shooting stars, actually, and sometimes quasars, depending on how broke you open. I definitely recommend 2, not 1. 2 Tour Guides and 1 Sandgan. Now, a lot of people only run 2 Tour Guides, and in my deck, I like to run Sandgan. 1, because if Tour Guide, because my deck runs a little bit of milling, just a little bit, and if I mill, say, one Tour Guide, the second Tour Guide becomes absolutely dead. So I wanted a 3rd target in there, not just a 3rd target just to be a target. I wanted one that would be very beneficial for the deck. And there's a lot of plays that you can make with Sandgan, such as Quick Draw to Sandgan equals Junk Destroyer, destroy 1 and add a card to hand. But he's very strong, even just to set it face down first turn to get your combo pieces out for your second. I'm a big fan of Sandgan. Zephyros I've been testing, and even without Call the Haunted, I think that it's very alive. It opens up a lot of opportunity for combos. You could bounce things from, say, Quick Draws to Junk Warriors to anything back to your hand and then summon it. It's a free summon, and it's a plus, which is great when you're synchro summoning. Something that you don't find a lot, or very often anyways. I run 1 Synchron Explorer. I have tested 2, and I have to agree it is a little bit too cloggy. It's very slow, hard to get, or hard to make good plays out of him when running 2. It's nice to have in your hand once in a while, which is why we run 1, but I don't recommend running more than 1. 1 Quillbolt, because I don't run plants, it's actually a good replacement for Dandelion. And if you don't believe me, if you notice that a lot of this deck often, because we don't run Debris Dragon, it's a level 2 that you can special summon for the graveyard after discarding or just being milled or anything like that. And when you go quick draw, discard Dandelion, and get 2 tokens, you're pretty much doing the exact same thing when discarding a Quillbolt Hedgehog, and then just taking it to, I don't know, like a Junk Berserker. So, and I don't know, I really like it, and I know that I can make a few Quasar combos and Shooting Star combos with this card, so I'm a very big fan of it, actually. And having any non-tuners that can special summon themselves from the graveyard is really good. Now, to Raikou, this I just added in. I realized that I was running very little amounts of light targets in my deck for BLS, and I didn't want to add a third Veiler in or anything like that, something that would more hurt the deck than benefit it. But I wanted a good light card that could also support milling. And of course, when you think about that, you think about Raikou. And so I decided to add in Raikou, and I actually really like him right now. I took him out a long time ago because I didn't think that he was that he was keeping up with the deck's fast pace. But it really does help when you draw a really like a more slower hand that needs to act in, say, the second or third turn. He helps. He's a very good first set. Good for milling, and if you mill him into the graveyard, there's already a light target there for you. So yeah, that's really good. And my other 2 light targets is 2 Veilers. I took up Maxi because in this deck, no matter how much you run of it, Maxi is almost, or it really takes away your hand's true potential, and because of that, I decided to take it out and just put it into the side. Then I have 1 Gores, 1 BLS at the end. Because we don't run any traps, Gores is almost always alive, and BLS is BLS. If you own one, you should always be running it, or if you don't, then you should find a way to make it happen. Now, the spell cards. So yeah, this is 23 monsters, I believe, by the way. Then I have 3 tuning. Now, tuning, a lot of people say that you shouldn't have, if you don't have 3 tuning, you shouldn't be running the deck. And it might sound like an exaggeration, but in a way, it's kind of true. Because with 3 tunings, your hands become much more consistently capable of making plays with tunings. Because no matter what, most of your plays will start with either quick draw synchrons or a junk synchron, or sometimes even unknown synchrons. So tuning is exactly what you need to do that. And even if your hand is absolutely dead and you draw it, and say that you have a handful of, say, junk synchrons, tuning gives you the chance of that 1 mil to get a level 1, level 2 monster in your graveyard, so you can actually go off. Because I've noticed that a few times in my hand, I have a really hard time finding a way to get a non-tune in the graveyard or make a play out of it because my hand's either full with tuners or non-tuners. So this becomes really, really good, and I can't exaggerate enough how much you need 3 of them in the deck. I know that they're sometimes hard to find and they're relatively expensive, but I really suggest getting 3 tuning. 1 Rhoda for obvious reasons. 1 Mind Control. You run tuners in the deck, so you run Mind Control for aggro. 1 Allure. We do run a lot of darks in the deck, and in this deck, it's super hard. Like, there's a lot of synergy in it. You can search out a lot of cards, don't get me wrong. But the ability to just draw 2 cards is always very powerful, and you almost always have a dark in your hand no matter what. So I very much recommend running Allure Darkness in this deck. Also, before I continue, I think I forgot to mention this. I don't run the Psychic Engine. I think the main reason why is because 3 E-Tallies for where I live is actually quite expensive. But I don't think that I really need to be able to run this deck competitively. If someone was to say, hey, here's 3 E-Tallies, I probably would run them, and I include the Psychic Engine. But I think that the deck has, like, I'm fine without them, and yeah, but if you do have E-Tallies, or you can get them, I would probably recommend them having them in here. And if you want kind of an alternative deck build, then this, the other one would be Speedy Steve's deck, like I mentioned at the beginning of the deck, or the duel, not deck, or duel, the deck profile. Definitely look at his channel if you want to look at that version of the deck. He has topped 1 regionals in the UK, I think he'd be top 16, yeah. And then 1 Avarice, 1 Creature Swap. This card is getting a little bit more play in these Doppel variants, and it's for a reason. It makes even the smallest monsters in your hand alive, and it gives a good use for Sangan, because when your opponent has, say, something like I don't know, any like say strong monster, more than 1,000 hopefully, or 1,000. You can summon Sangan, creature swap, and then make a lot of pluses off of that. Maybe attack the Sangan, add a card, but and it's very good. It has a lot of potential, and it's almost never a dead draw. Charge for Raikou. This is for if you don't have if you don't even need Raikou at the time. This will help you get cards in your graveyard, and it's super easy to run into something like a Zephyros, Level Eater, Quillable Hedgehog, and dump it off into the graveyard, or say a Doppel Warrior. So milling 3 cards, this is a very healthy choice in this deck. 1-for-1, because we run lots of level 1s, even Level Eater. Foolish Burial, it is a minus, but it does set up your plays, and I swear, a lot of the times I've gone Junk Synchron, Doppel Warrior, but I didn't have level 1 in my graveyard, so I had Foolish Burial the Effect Veiler. And I guess I had to get it done, so I guess, yeah. So Foolish Burial does set up a lot of plays. Card Destruction is a tech, and it's first of all, disturb your opponent's starting hand, or whatever they've set up in their hand, but also, when you Card Destruction, especially on your first turn, you can set a lot of things in your graveyard, like Quillable Hedgehogs and Level Eaters, and like I mentioned before, and just getting your graveyard developed. Then you get to draw 5 more cards, and being able to, you actually, believe it or not, spend a lot of your hand on getting cards into the graveyard to make your plays. So Card Destruction is a quick method of doing that. And then just 5 staples, Monsterborn, Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, and 2 MSTs. So like I said, I don't run any traps, and to be honest, I really like how it runs even without them. I think that even with Call of the Haunted, what some people choose to use Call of the Haunted, it often ends up getting MST'd quickly, and it becomes very hard to make decent plays off of it, and it does take up a lot of deck space. The one trap card that I'll rate with running would be Treacherous Trap Hole. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I might consider adding it, just because it's explosiveness, it's a chainable card. It's actually more defensive than aggressive, but it's another element that you can add to the deck, definitely. Now, just go through the extra deck very quickly. Formula Synchron. I actually run a Levier right now for my tour as a tour guide Exceed. I'm not sure, or I'm probably gonna make this as Enmians. But Levier, it does set up a lot of plays with Quillable Hedgehog and such. When you banish Lights and Darks for BLS. Levier, the only thing is that if you open up just tour guide in your first turn and you have to make a rank 3. Zenmains is much better for that. This is more like when you've already gone through your, say your Quasar Loop or something like that. Yeah. So Army Arm, some people run, what's his name? Dark Diviner. But I personally have a hard time doing that because you have to have a Junk Synchron and a Level Eater. This is a little bit more, I don't know the word for it, but you can use it with like any level or any tuners, any non-tuners. Just make this level 4. It's a good low level synchro, and sometimes can make OTKs, believe it or not, and help monsters up higher than your opponents. Junk Warrior, if you don't know already, Junk Synchron to Doppel Warrior, and you summon Junk Warrior. He gains the attack of the 2 tokens, so it becomes 31, which is really good. Very high attack, trumps pretty much every monster. 1 Catastor and 1 Librarian. These are pretty much the basic level 5s. Now, I only ran level 6, 1 level 6, and it's Drill Warrior. And my reason why is because you almost never go into a level 6 synchro without Quick Draw Synchron. And if you do, it's often that you can make a 7 or a 5, to be honest. It's very rare that you'll go into something like an Iron Chain Dragon or an Orient Dragon. You'll much more commonly go into something like Drill Warrior. And Drill Warrior is good, as you probably all know. Then 1 Junk Berserker, I choose this over Junk Archer. It's a very high attack for a level 7, and it's a second effect that lets you banish, say, a Junk Synchron from your graveyard to lower your opponent's monster's attack. Lets them get over anything, even something like a BLS. Black Rose for Nuke, Scrap Dragon, and Stars Dragon as level 8s, and then Junk Destroyer for Destruction, very aggressive card, makes a lot of plays. And then Road Warrior, because this has a lot of potential in the deck, and a lot of people ask me, why the heck are you running this card? But it really is worth it, and it does make a lot of plays with, because you have, like, I think you actually have about 8 targets in the deck, so it's never dead. So yeah, anyways, so 1 Shooting Star and 1 Quasar, because we can. So yeah, that was my deck profile, and I think I'm going close to 15 minutes here, so I'll end the video. But thank you for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe to let you know you can expect more videos from us. We're back on YouTube now, so yeah, like I said, please comment, rate, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye.